So hopefully some people got some notifications and some people will peter in here little by little. So
Gotcha.
cool.
How's everything going, Jason? Busy week?
Man, what's been going on this week? Yeah, I've been redesigning my door grow score quiz, and I've been modernizing that, and it's gonna be really cool. I think I'll get a much higher conversion rate on that form, so people can grade their website. And that quiz, I seriously thought about charging for it because somebody goes through that, it's gonna like change their whole perspective on their website, and then they're just gonna go have somebody else do it. But
It follows the Zig Ziglar's a huge hero of mine, and the first two steps. Number one is figuring out what their problem is, and the second part is getting them to realize what their problems are. I think that quiz that I seen on your website really hits both of them, right? I think it's a great idea.
yeah, so the challenge is like I look at every property management website and I see like a, it looks like a graveyard to me. It's like, but the caskets are open and the ground's been dug up. This is what I see when I look at property management websites out there, and I'm like, I'm like, they're so bad. Why don't they just have me fix these for them? And they'll probably be, I could double their conversions, probably, maybe triple, and then they're getting way more business, and it would pay for itself in like a month. Like it
It's
would just, I'm like, "Ugh." So making this quiz. So I've been putting this together. Maybe I'll give you guys a link to it, and you guys can be my guinea pigs. No one's seen this yet. I don't even
I'm
think my team's looked at it yet. I just posted it to my team. Posted it in this room. This was an
John. Just a
exclusive.
point. John is our mic at this meeting today, driving around in his parking lot, being very important.
I know. Well, I sit in the office. I was so disappointed because I got a new camera and
Right.
speakers. I was all jacked up for this week,
Yeah.
and I was gonna get a headset and look like you guys. They're all legit, but I haven't. I can't spring because it's either like $19 for a headset or $200.
Yeah,
There's just
they're
not
pricey.
there yet. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
still. We'll
I've got
see.
my high-tech mic now, so I don't have to wear the big old cool awesome headset.
That's smart.
And I've got a good webcam. So all right, so I put the link here in the chat. If you didn't see it pop up, you go up to the top left, click the blue, and then there's the link. And this is my door growth score quiz. This is my first draft. The scoring and what happens at the end is a little muddled, but the questions are all, I think, done. So
I'm excited.
um,
Can I take this now while we're doing this, or do you want me? Is this homework for later, Jason?
now go ahead, play with it, and tell me what you think. I'm gonna go grab some books while I'm ready. And
Listen, it's all a scam. It's a scam, just like you will hate yourself and your website and everything after this, and you're gonna get sucked into a tunnel.
Yep. Well, and if there's one thing that and Jason, you probably
But
hit
it's a
on it,
good tunnel.
yeah, exactly. It's a tunnel for growth, but even for us at Property Meld, one big metric that we track is, our conversion rates on our leads, because every one of those leads cost us some form of money, right? Or an average. We can try and do as much organic as we can, but sometimes we pay for the traffic, whatever. And if you don't convert, it's wasted money. So,
Anna,
um,
welcome.
Thank you.
We have a lady this time. Last time we had Timmy lurking, but she didn't actually come on video, and now we have a female, so we have to tone it down. I'm just Anna,
I
how
don't
are you?
mind.
Where are you at?
Gulf Coast Property Management in
Oh, you're one of
Southwest
Andy's
Florida.
peeps.
Yes,
oh,
yes.
cool.
Yep.
Where is that British chap?
Oh, he's around here somewhere.
Oh, that's the
Cool.
Gulf Coast people. You did their site.
Yeah, yeah. I get
I met
lots of
him in the Gulf
compliments on
Coast.
that site. Andy has a
Yeah.
really great hero image. His is one of my favorite examples of a hero image for his homepage.
Well,
So,
now I got to go look at that too. You're giving me
yeah,
all this homework.
we'll plug it in here. I'll put it in here in the chat. But Anna,
He's got a good
what
site.
do you help Andy with?
Business development. I'm just taking a brief break from some cold calling.
Wow.
Cold calling, the lost art form.
Did you
Yes,
watch my cold calling event?
I did. Yes, it was great.
Were you doing cold calling before that?
I was just starting and I was a little nervous, but you kind of made me a little more comfortable with the idea that it's something that I should be doing.
That's really great. That's really great. So yeah,
Anna,
I
can I
was
ask a
blown away.
question?
That went really well, that event.
Yeah, sure.
I wouldn't think that with a so you're cold calling for new property owners?
Right now I'm targeting realtors trying to establish a relationship with them.
Okay.
So in
Okay.
hopes that they'll refer properties to us.
Wow, I would think Andy's organization is just a machine the way the website is and everything. There's just leads are just falling off the tree all the time.
All right, I'm gonna grab some books. So, and I cut you off earlier, Ray. So you can chat. I'll be
I
right
don't,
back.
I don't, I don't,
You're,
I don't
you're talking
remember what
about
I did.
tracking your conversion, your leads.
Yeah, and I mean, one of those things, and even for us, like we have an evolving message. I mean, obviously we're in a little bit different space than trying to attract new owners, but at the same point, it's like, what is your service, and how do you convert the people that were at least interested enough to look at your site into purchasing your product or at least initiating a conversation? So we've kind of reinvented our website probably 3 times over the last 2 years, which is pretty regular, and honestly, we want to do it again just because. That is such a key piece of information is what's the conversion rate of those people joining up versus how many people come to the website, because it costs money, right? So you figure continue to develop and invest in website and try and drive as much organic traffic as you can, but it costs money, so it's all coming out of the kettle somewhere. So you're going to put it into more leads, or you're going to put it into a better website. Kind of have to make that net company decision.
All right, team.
Yeah, I've been on your site twice. I've been on your site twice. I've been scared to click the contact us or anything further.
Don't be scared, John. Just shoot.
And I've shared it with a staff member, and I just thought, no.
Dude,
Well,
John,
you know,
John, did you hear the testimonial from Sterling? He came on after you left, and I recorded it.
I'll share it with you, John.
Plug
I'll send
the
it to you. It's a
yeah,
game changer. I'll if it's okay with. Go ahead, Jason.
Yeah, let me share this. Let me share this because if you share it, you're just self-promoting. So, so Sterling came on last time, and he was talking about his results from starting onto the seed package, and he's like in my first month, and he couldn't even he was trying to keep a straight face, but then he starts smiling, almost covering his mouth, right? He got 20 doors. That's like one more than you, John. He beat you.
Yeah.
So in his first month.
Yeah,
And I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, 20 doors. But that's a bigger deal for him because he's been in business for about 3 years now, and I think hit 50 or 60 doors in 3 years, right? So so that was really big for him. And then anyway, he mentioned that he also signed up for Property Mill because I'd recommended it to him, and he said he's just getting all these rave reviews about his customer service and customer satisfaction and maintenance just handled. And it sounds awesome. So I cut it out, edited it, and cut out the other people talking. I sent it to Ray. I'm like, here's a gift to you, dude. Check this out. And Ray was like,
huge gift.
So
it was awesome.
If you don't know, Ray's the CEO of Property Meld, and he just disappeared. I don't know where he went. So, all right. So do you guys have books?
I don't have any books in front of me, but
no books. All right. Okay. Who wants to share a book? Somebody have a book to share?
So I didn't bring any books. I thought I would just talk about a book that I recently read that really was a game changer And basically, and I actually mentioned a quote of him earlier, and it's Zig Ziglar. Um, Secrets of Closing the Sale. It's probably one of the most altering sales books I've ever read before. And number one, I think he's a moral and ethical sales guy, which I think, at the end of the day, like, you want to pair the right product with the right customer. That's what's going to establish longevity. But it's more or less how to get there. And he has a four-step process that I've learned not just to apply to what I sell in life, but it also involves how I deal with people, everything, and because dealing with people is sales, and he even incorporates about how they deal with their young kid in terms of sales, and you do the same thing, and I'll give you an example, about putting negative words into people's heads. Like, if you say, I would love it if you would call me back, is significantly different than sitting there going, when would a call work? Next week or the week after, right? So doing those things, and even how he talked about as a kid, he sat there and said, go put your toy back. So, and he said, and we applied the sales thing, and he said, would you like to pick up your toy and take it back, or would you like to roll it back, right? You're giving options that are both what you want. And he said, even with the kids it's using. But he's got a pretty great four-step process, and I mentioned the first two steps is number one. Basically truly identifying what their issues are, not what they're telling you it is. And then the second is to get them to realize what their issues are, and then the third part is to get them to realize that whatever you're offering is the solution to their problems, and then the fourth is closing, which kind of goes into a whole nother animal. But ever since really taking up that kind of mindset of, because when we used to sell property and Melted Literally, it was, oh, wow, this is cool, this software is great, it's wonderful, it's so cool, but they didn't believe they had an issue. And in reality, I mean, it is. It's online reputation. It's trying to eliminate phone calls. There's costs. There's things slipping through the cracks. So once we started getting people to realize that they were broken down in the system, and kind of walking through that process is a huge sale. So he's my number one guy I will ever refer anybody to as far as sales in books wise.
And what was the book called?
Zig Ziglar's Secrets of Closing the Sale.
Closing the Sale. All right.
Great book though. Yeah, I'll put it in the chat in the Amazon link if anybody cares.
Yeah,
but
I gotta have an
wrote it down.
assistant in
That's
here
good.
getting me all my affiliate links on Amazon. All right, so cool. So Secrets of Closing the Sale. All right, who else has got a book?
Hey, I've got one, Andy from Easy Repair. How's everybody doing?
Hey, what's your book, dude?
Hey, you've probably heard of it, Raving Fans, Ken Blanchard, and he's got a great follow-up that really didn't get any publicity. It's called Extraordinary Customer Service. And
It's called Raving Fans?
Raving Fans, and it's probably written in the late 90s, but it revolutionized a lot of what big businesses do with customer service. But it's such an easy read. It's a little over 100 pages, and it's told in story form. And the follow-up is Extraordinary Customer Service, same kind of deal. It's about you're reading it like you're reading a novel, but it's outlining these exceptional steps on how you can transform your business to be providing the kind of service where you get loyal customers, the kind of customers that give you great reviews, that keep coming back, that refer you to other people. And it's really both of those books I highly recommend, and they're both super easy reads. So you're not sitting down reading a manual of 300 pages. These are like 110, 120 page. It's all in a story form, and they're really fun. You'll read them in one sitting because they're just really interesting. You want to see what happens. But as you go through, you'll read them again because then you go back and take notes on things that you can actually apply to your company. So both those books really fantastic for customer service, but also obviously that applies to sales as well. So.
Hey, Jason, are you right? I'm just curious because I'm not. I'm doing a horrible job at taking notes. Are you planning on sharing these on the follow-up post, or?
No, I'm gonna keep everything to myself.
Dang it!
Because
all right, Jason. Now I gotta get my notepad out.
I'm joking. I put down. I got your book, and I got Raving Fans. Who's Raving Fans by?
Ken Blanchard. And a quick plug too, if you have employees, Gung Ho by Ken Blanchard is a great book on developing an engaged workforce.
Cool. Yeah, and the customer service thing, everybody keeps telling me to read the Zappos book. I don't know
Yeah.
what it's something about happiness, selling happiness.
Well, they provide their culture book every year. So what they do is, and I visited Zappos when I was with AAA. We benchmarked Zappos because they got a fantastic call center operation. So they have like the happiest customers that you'd ever see, and the incredible thing is they have the happiest employees you'd ever see at a call center job, which isn't necessarily where you think of as the most engaged, happy employees. But what they do is they do open comments from their employees every year, and they put it in this big culture book that's a few hundred pages, and you read the quotes. It's completely unedited. You go through the whole book from hundreds of employees, you won't find a single negative comment, and it's the employees just talking about what they like about working at Zappos, what's so fantastic. Really
Right.
cool. So they put it in book form. I don't know how you get it. I got it because we developed a relationship with them when we were benchmarking. So I've got a couple of years of their books, but I'm not sure. I mean, I imagine you can get it online.
Okay, I found their book. This is their has 820 reviews on Amazon. Super popular. A lot of people have mentioned this to me. So this is on my to read list. But it's called Delivering Happiness
Happiness, yeah. Um,
by Tony. I don't even know how to say that last
Tony
name.
Shea.
Hassi?
That's Shea. It doesn't sound like it's spelled, but Shea.
Okay. So, all right, cool. All right.
Now I got homework. Ah, man, it's Friday too.
I got like 8 credits in my book audio book thing, so I need all this stuff. I need to buy something. So I'm so jacked for tomorrow morning.
That's why I love Amazon Prime, man.
Well, they work with Audible now, don't they? Or
Yeah.
aren't they owned by Audible? Yeah. Yeah,
So
it's
you get the
slick.
hookups on the Audibles, and you get the unlimited reading on a lot of stuff too on digital. I
They're
hate
com-
digital. I hate digital books. Do you guys like
I don't like them either.
Anna? Do you read on your iPad? You're
I,
muted.
I do not. I like the old fashioned. I like to hold a book in my hand. I don't
Yeah,
like to read on an iPad. Mm-mm.
Yeah, especially if I like the book, I want the book. I want to
exactly.
have it.
Not to put like such a doomsday kind of thing on it, but this is what I tell people all the time. Like, the crazy scary thing, like it used to be we all had these DVDs and the VHS, the old Disney movies. Now everything's digital. We need one server, not one server to crash, but in reality, like you don't have it. Somebody could change their terms and conditions tomorrow, and you don't have what you thought you bought. So same with books. That's why it scares me. It's physical literature. It's going to be there until either your house burns down or it ages to death or you throw it away. So
Yeah, well, I'm not counting on the apocalypse happening, so I'm still
well,
into
hopefully where
Netflix.
none of us are counting, but
So, all right, cool. Anna, what's your book? You got something that you like?
I I do not have one. I was just here for recommendations.
You don't have any favorite book? It doesn't
Not
have to be like business-ish. You can
really.
admit
I've been so busy. I have not been doing any reading as of lately.
you can admit the sleazy romance novel that you have
Okay,
listed.
okay. 50 Shades.
Fifty
oh, there it
Shades.
is.
There it is.
Hey, add
Okay.
it to my writing list, Jason. Put that on there. I
I'm
need it.
teasing.
I
She's
need
like,
it.
ah, you punk. All right, so no book for Anna. Okay.
No, here for recommendations,
All
writing them
right.
down.
You'll get some good ones. There's one book I couldn't find, and I want. All right, John, you get to share a book. I'm gonna go look for this other book.
Um, I'm an audio book guy, and I crank everything. I like those because I crank the speed up to 1.5 times, and then I get through the book so much faster. I
Really?
can't sit and read a book. Yeah, I really struggle with that. I think it's because I got so many kids and all that, but I just can't make out the time, and so I only got a little bit of time in the morning, so I crank out, I do Audible, and then I can stop and write and take notes, and then I just know exactly where
I'm
I don't know.
I'm just blown away you can speed up a book. I need to look. I need to look. I stopped you right there. You just said 1.5 times. Like I didn't even know that option was available. It makes 100%
Oh, it's
sense.
so awesome. I mean, because like John Maxwell is so like so slow, blah. And I'm just like, wow. And I hear a book on regular speed. I'm just like, no way. I crank it up to at least 1.5, and I'm trying to like increase my listening rate to 1.75. Not there yet. But when you
Yeah,
can take that content in faster, the same with anything. I mean, sometimes these webinars and things are just 2 hours, and I just don't. I just
Don't
want
have
to read
time.
everything in this. I don't have. I just don't have time. So I need like the cliff notes of everything. So it's crazy that the one I just I'm not reading books. I'm actually doing subscribing to the YouTube channels and just getting 15 minutes of wisdom, um, and random video audio things as I drive and that type of thing. So the last book I read was I think it was Blanchard, the 1 Minute Manager or something, because it was only 100 pages, and it was great for me, and I passed it around the staff and all that good stuff.
what was
Um,
it about? Like, what takeaways did you get from the 1 Minute Manager?
Well, basically on the Blanchard on the I think it's Ken Blanchard, the 1 Minute Manager, and just kind of a timeless book. And I think he did the Raving Fans, right?
He
So,
Yeah.
did.
um, and I haven't read that one, but the bottom line is that he was saying that we don't ever, as a manager, we don't ever try to solve our staff's problems. They either have to solve their own problems or come up with suggestions, and I'll either say yes, that's a good idea, or no, go find another suggestion. And then there is you give there's 1 minute of you let your staff know you'll give them 1 minute of praising. You set up some goals for them, and the goals they have to review weekly. 6 to 8 goals, and they have to be on one page, less than 250 words. And it's like, hey, here's your goals, and you have 6 or 8 goals, and and when you accomplish those, you can get new goals and move up into the company, into the pay scale. But these are the goals you need to accomplish every week or month. And it's like, you got to rent a house in 21 days, or you got to have, so many closings within, the month. And you have to respond to work orders in our office because we have a disaster, within so many hours, and then, have it fixed within, so many days. And so that's the goal. And then, so what we've been doing is giving each employee goals, and then when we see them accomplishing their goals, me as the owner or my manager, we give them 1 minute of praise publicly, in front of the office. But also when they screw up, we let them know. We give them 1 minute of reprimand, and we do it publicly. And it's effective because
Okay.
people do not like to be publicly criticized. But as long as they know, and you are giving out the praises, and I did them today, and somebody cried, but I was trying to be
Yeah.
nice, but I just let them know, and it's effective. People do not like that, so it's a classic, timeless book, and it's been working for us, and I'll use it for a few months, and
I'm,
until I find
I'm
another
trying to
book.
remember if I read this book or not, because it sounds really familiar.
Well, they've done a few spin-offs of 1 minute this, 1 minute that. This was kind of the original one, and it's 100 pages, just kind of like that Raven Fans was, and it's
Yeah.
good. It's just simple, and I just need simple, concise, easy, not 300-page books and 17 principles. I can't implement that.
Yeah.
So that's all I
Cool.
got on that.
All right. 1 Minute Manager. All right. Anyone else have some book to share? I've got a bunch of books. You guys better get your pens out. You ready? I'm going to drop some
Man,
knowledge
I got
on
one
you.
book you shared with me, Jason.
Yeah? What was that? You just
It
cut
was the
out.
most. I know, but I'm trying to find it on my audio here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I got one book, The Dark Side of the Light Chasers.
Oh, that's a game changer.
I couldn't finish it, dude. I couldn't go there.
I love that book.
You there?
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
dark side
the
of the
dark.
light.
It was. You got some. That's some
Dark,
that'll
so
turn your life upside down.
yeah, this is one of my coaching type of books, right, that I'll share with people. Am I blurry? Come on, camera, focus. All right. So The Dark Side of the Light Chasers by Debbie Ford or Deborah Ford. And so what Debbie Ford did for like the coaching industry with this book was pretty revolutionary. So here's the quick and dirty of it. Basically, what the book illustrates is that everything in another person that triggers you or pisses you off, right? Like your kids, is really a mirror or reflection of your own attributes that you don't want to acknowledge or that you don't believe you have. Right? Okay, so what that means is my son, for example, is really stubborn, and then I'll get really mad and I'll say, "Why is he so stubborn? Why does he do?" And then I realize, "Oh, I'm stubborn. Like I have this same thing, and that's why it really is triggering me, right?" And what's interesting is some people will say certain things or do certain things, and um, it won't trigger you. It won't upset you. It won't bother you. Like somebody being lazy might not bother some people. They'll see somebody being lazy and yeah, it's cool. And other people they're like, oh, I hate lazy people. They drive me crazy. That person is really easy to plug into with that particular issue because they have that issue, but they don't believe they have that issue. They cut that off a long time ago. And so usually this happens when you're a little kid. You are told certain attributes that you're displaying that are part of you are bad, sick, and wrong. And so what we do is we cut those off. It's kind of like cutting off your arm. But what really happens is it's still there. You just don't see it anymore. You're like, oh yeah, I got rid of that. I'm not lazy. Because my dad was yelling at me that I was lazy when I was a kid. I got rid of that stuff. I'm not lazy, but I hate all these lazy people, right? And then you're going nuts, right? So what happens is you still have that. That's who you are. It's like part of you. And so we make all these judgments about what's good or bad about ourselves, and instead of accepting our whole self, because there's a benefit to every dark side. There's a positive or benefit to everything that you might consider dark or bad, sick, and wrong. Like, is there an appropriate time to be lazy? Yeah, we would call that like relaxing or chilling or, taking a breather, and there's benefits to that. Is there a dark side to, you could pick anything that people generally will judge as bad, sick, or wrong, right? Like being perverted. That's a negative label, but there's times when my wife is probably very glad that I am, interested in that kind of stuff, right? So, or that I'm that way, right? So we have all these things that we judge negatively about ourselves, and the goal of the book is to have you not just try to stuff and get rid of all your negative attributes, but to see the benefit of your dark side and to see also your light side, your golden attributes. So the other side of it is when we see other people that are like heroes or we view them as mentors, like, and all of you guys have like turned off your cameras and muted. You guys crying right now? You guys okay? It's just you. It's you and me, Andy. So. So, but the positive is the golden side, this whatever side that we view as positive and okay. But here's the other challenge with that is we see all these people that we look at as like heroes, and everybody has different heroes. Some people are like, man, I want to be a businessman like Donald Trump, or I want to be a pro basketball player like Shaq. I don't know. I don't follow basketball too much, but everybody has their different heroes. Oh, I love this musician. They're amazing. Gosh, then when they see them, they're like, oh my gosh, they're so amazing. They're like gods to me, right? Is how people perceive some of these people. They have their heroes. Well, the heroes, they like them because the heroes are displaying certain attributes. Again, those are attributes that are latent within ourselves that we subconsciously recognize we have because we're attracted to them. They're attributes that we can have or hold within ourselves that we have also cut off and stuffed. So there's two sides of this book, and the whole book is just about becoming whole again. And they use this analogy in the book that when you're really little, yourself internally is like this big mansion. You have lots of different rooms. But as you get older, everybody says, ooh, what's in that room is ugly, or what's in that room is bad, or that room is scary, or that room is too, like, you're like too being too, show off or good or whatever. So we start shutting all these doors, and eventually we're trapped in this little tiny room that feels like a one-bedroom apartment as we get older, but really it's all still there. We've just closed off to it, right? Our positive attributes and our negative attributes. So that's kind of a summary of the book. The book is amazing, but you have to actually do the work. And the audiobook is just as good. The audiobook, you get to hear her actually speaking and sharing it. So that's a really cool book. So good one, John. All right. All right, I'm going to share some books here. What should I share first? Okay. All right. This is a good book. You see this book? Any of you read this one?
No.
No.
This is The One Thing by Gary Keller. You guys heard of Gary Keller?
Oh, yeah.
If you haven't heard of Gary Keller, you've probably heard of Keller Williams, the leading real estate franchise, okay? That's this dude. This book is awesome. What I love about this book is he goes through and he shares how important it is to focus on one thing. If you're not getting as much success or results or progress in anything you're focused on, 90% chance you're focusing on more than one thing. And he points out that our brain, the first several chapters are just genius. Like he shoots apart all kinds of common ideas like multitasking. Multitasking is a myth. Our brains are not capable of multitasking. Really, we are task switchers. We switch between tasks maybe rapidly, but our effectiveness on doing two tasks gets cut down to about half. And so you're basically, if you're multitasking, my assistant, team member Helen, she came up with this phrase where she says she likes to call it half-ass tasking, which is true. So he realized as a company that he was asking, like he started stepping out of the business and coaching his like top people instead of running it. And he starts talking about how he started telling people to like focus on 3 goals. He started with a high number of goals, and they said just get 3 things done this week, and then they still weren't getting them done, and then he was finally like, all right, I'm going to give you one thing to do this week. Just get this one thing accomplished. And then they started getting it done. But he said no matter how small I made it, if even 3 goals or 2 goals, one was the only one that people were actually consistently getting results with. So no one read this book? Ray? Anyone heard of this book? This book is awesome. Hey, hold on real quick. All right, team. We started trying to homeschool my kid. That was my wife, and it's not working out. Like he's really fighting with us on everything. So I think he's going back. All right. So the one thing. All right. So the one thing. Gosh, there were so many great takeaways. Like I have all these pages dog-eared and things underlined. This book is really cool. I don't think there was much I disagreed with, but some of these things I'd already figured out. But he talks just like he's got like a diagram about interruptions. Like we were using Slack in my business. Slack just creates interruptions constantly. It was like destroying my company. So not everyone loves Slack, but I don't like Slack. Slack allows everybody on your team to just instantly interrupt you, and they don't have any other mode of communication outside of that, other than like sending you an email, which also sucks. So, all right, another cool book, The Pumpkin Plan. So you guys, some of you guys have heard me talk about the cycle of suck, right?
Yeah.
So the Pumpkin Plan. I was telling a client about the cycle of suck, and he said, that sounds a lot like the pumpkin plan. I was like, really? Cool. What's the pumpkin plan about? And he says, basically, he shares this analogy of how he was struggling and having some issues, but then he noticed that these prize-winning pumpkin farmers would have these pumpkin patches, and in order to have, and he started comparing it to business. So in order for a pumpkin farmer to grow really healthy prize-winning pumpkins, he has to constantly and consistently go through his pumpkin patch and get rid of the moldy and yucky pumpkins in order for his patch to thrive and survive and not like get disgusting and die and get gross, right? That's like it in a nutshell, and you can see really quickly how that could apply to business, right? If you have bad doors, you have bad properties, it is like a cancer that affects your reputation. It hurts everything else. So this is a really good book. Is that Steve?
Yeah.
Hey, Steve. Welcome to the party. I'm going through some books that everyone was sharing some books. I was just sharing the Pumpkin Plan. Have you heard of this one?
No. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you fine.
Oh, cool. No, I haven't heard of that one.
Good book. And before that, I mentioned The One Thing by Gary Keller. You read that one?
I have not.
That's a good one too. All right.
Yeah, no, I know about that one.
So the Pumpkin Plan. The Pumpkin Plan was also written by the same guy that wrote the Pumpkin Plan wrote this book. Every business owner should read this book.
Nice name.
Every business owner should read this book. This book challenges the status quo when it comes to how you manage your accounting, your books, and how you deal with revenue and profit. And it helps make companies profitable. In a nutshell, standard, or he calls it Frankenstein accounting, is you take your revenue minus your expenses, and what's left over is profit, right? That's typical accounting. Now, if you switch the equation around, technically it should equal the exact same thing, right? So if you subtract your profit from your revenue, you should be left over with the expenses amount, right? It sounds like it should be the same equation, but we're humans, and psychologically we're hardwired, he points out, to eat everything on our plate. It's proven, like, if you go through a buffet line or go get food with a bigger plate, you're going to eat more. You have a smaller plate, you eat less, right? We eat as much as we can manage. And the problem is, every time we start adding new revenue to our business, we start adding more expenses. We're like, ooh, I could probably afford that new cool tool. I could probably afford that new service. I could probably get this new cool thing. And they start adding all these additional things. And then the business owner is always wondering why it's so scary, and they're always looking at their bank account trying to manage their finances. And he calls that Frankenstein accounting. So Profit First is a model where he has certain like formula, and you take a certain amount out for profit, and what's left over is what you're allotted for expenses, and you have to make your expenses fit that, because otherwise you're going to be in hell. So really simple, and it's genius. My accountant, I found out, was a Profit First coach, so I hired her to take me through the process. But get a Profit First accountant to take you through this. Like if your account doesn't do profit first, get a new one. Because
Isn't
I think this is a game changer. It makes so much sense.
isn't that kind of Clintonian?
What's Clint? What do you mean Clintonian?
I'm kidding. Well, you know, you
Clinton.
she takes her money first, and everybody else be damned. Just kidding. Sorry, I didn't mean to get political.
Okay, I see what you're saying. You mean Clinton, right? Yeah, okay.
Clintonian.
Yeah, I don't know, but it like what's stupid is to spend more money than you can afford to, and that's generally what happens when you're doing standard um, expenses first accounting.
Where do you find an accountant that would, I mean, is there a resource for that?
Yeah, you just go to the Profit First website,
All
or
right,
just
cool.
Google like Profit First accountant and then your city name. Yeah, they get certified and they have a whole process they take you through, and it's pretty. I'm a fan. I'm a big fan. Some of the most savvy business guys I know are really into it, and it's a game changer.
How does it change your perspective on, like cash flow? I mean, you just look at it sort of in reverse, or
Well, what he shares in the book, like some people go through, do the math or the equation or follow his thing to figure out where their company is right now in terms of profit, and they realize that their company is like backwards, and that's not good, right?
right?
So. And what basically what it's doing for me right now is we're setting aside a certain amount into a certain profit account, and then we have what's left over to pay like expenses, and so we have to cut our expenses to make sure they fit into that, or we have to increase our revenue. But it keeps us in a situation where we don't end up like some small business owners end up, oh my gosh, I can't like we're upside down at this month, or we have one bad month and then everything goes to crap, or this kind of thing. So
So you predetermine profit as like a budget item, kind of.
yeah, profits base a percentage of your revenue. It's like a fixed amount.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's really really cool. Um, this book's a game changer. Um, this opens people's minds up to the idea that the most important thing is figuring out your purpose, your why, like what drives you. Everything else, how you go about doing things, what you end up doing, is driven by this. And when you're not clear on this, everything gets misaligned. So this is like at the core of when I begin with coaching clients. What I work on with them is help them figure out their why statement and their why, which I've had lots of my clients have read the book, they've gone through and like worked on this forever, and they still can't figure out their why. I've heard this before several times. So I have a process I take people through to get through that really relatively quickly. But once you figure out your why, you then business owners change their team members, they change their what they're doing in their company, like everything starts to align towards you properly. Whereas a lot of business owners let the business control their life. So they end up being slaves to their business because they're not clear on what they want, because they don't know what motivates them, like why they exist and why they go about doing things. So that's one of my all-time like top 10 books. Fantastic book. So, um, all right. So this is the kids version of the book. I haven't even read this one, but the Five Love Languages. Has anybody read this by Gary Chapman? So
No.
the original book I've read, which is the Five Love Languages, and the Five Love Languages is a game changer for interpersonal communication, especially with your loved ones, your family members, your spouse, your wife, your kids. So the Five Love Languages, the book basically points out that everybody has a different love language, a different way of communicating and wanting to be communicated love. And our false assumption is always that our way of communicating love is how everyone else should receive love. And so we will love somebody in our language or communicate positively in our love language to other people, and it won't do a thing for certain people. And they will always be frustrated and be complaining and about us, not doing it in the right way. So the 5 love languages are acts of service. So my wife is definitely acts of service. She likes when I do things for her. Not my love language. My love language primarily is probably physical touch. So like, and maybe words of affirmation, right? So words of affirmation is like, and that what's interesting is my dad was definitely physical touch. My mom was definitely words of affirmation. And so I'm kind of a hybrid of that. My wife, her dad is gifts for sure, and her mom is acts of service. So her mom, acts of service, she does not like, you will not hear her say like, I love you. And if she goes to give you a hug, it's like quick pats, like I'm tapping out instantly. But she will like, when she comes over, she's like cleaning our house and like painting and like moving stuff around and like doing her laundry. Like she is acts of service. And that's how she shows love. And so she'll do all this stuff, and somebody else who doesn't have that love language will be like, she never says she loves me, because maybe they're words of affirmation. And she would say, but I'm doing all this stuff for you, right? I'm doing all this. Like, can't you tell? Or like a guy that's acts of service will say, I'm working really hard every day. You can't tell, right? I'm doing this for you. I'm serving. And some people are like, well, I need to be told I'm loved, or I need to be hugged and touched and my hand held. I'm physical acts, right? So there's acts of service, physical touch, words of affirmation, gifts, and what's the other one? Anyone else know this? Gifts and
What book was this?
This is the 5 love languages.
What book is this from? What book?
Called the 5 love languages.
Oh, that's the name of the book. Okay, I thought it was. Sorry. No, I was just gonna say, because my mom was real good at the language of defamation, but that's a whole other category.
Right. So she was not words of affirmation.
But she was like an old football coach. I mean, she'd always yell at you and find the negative. But she was very loving, but she didn't really express it. She was, not so much in words. So it's interesting.
Yeah. So the question's, how is she loving, right? So your kids have different love languages. Each of my kids are different. And you always have one that's more prominent, but usually there's a nice secondary one, right? And so everybody has different love languages. So that's really helpful, especially like it can be helpful in sales, because you'll see people like they're like high-fiving you and like they're touchy, or some people are like, positive expression, hey, you're looking great, this kind of thing. Or some people are really about service, like, well, what have you done for me lately, so.
Well, how does this relate to like neurolinguistic stuff, NLP? Because it's similar. It seems more categorized. But...
Well, NLP has the different like modes of communication, which are like auditory, visual,
touch,
kinesthetic.
Right.
Yeah.
So some people are touchy, some people want to see it, and some people want to hear it. So
I don't know if there's a correspondence. I'm sure that kinesthetic people tend to be more physical touch.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there's a direct correspondence. Like, I'm very auditory.
Right.
More than most people, and I'm visual. I'm a very visual person, obviously, running a design agency, but I'm also very auditory, into music.
Yeah, but you said you like touch, which means you're kinesthetic.
Yeah. So I don't know if there's a direct correlation.
You speak like a kinesthetic. You have slow, deliberate speech, which is a characteristic of a kinesthetic person.
Yeah, or just being dumb. I don't know.
Well, there's that too. I didn't want to go there.
So anyway, I don't know if there's a direct correlation. I think you can be probably any combination of those. You could be a visual person and like physical touch.
Well, we're all a combination. It's just that we tend to have a dominant one.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's really interesting because it's this blind spot that most people have. Like, they just assume outright that what makes me feel good is going to make everybody else feel good too. So there's like a companion book, and he's got this book called The 5 Languages of Apology, which is totally different too. Like some people want like restitution. Some people want to see you in pain and suffer. Some people want to just get a verbal confirmation that you're sorry. Like it's that book's interesting too. But all right, another book, Ask. This book has a really simple title, and it's a lot of content to really get across one really simple thing. And I think really what he's trying to do is like just sell people on his survey funnels and stuff. But what's really cool about this book, the core principle of this book, Ask, is that if you want to know what people want and you want to increase your sales, you just need to ask them what they want. You just need to find out. I mean, that's the whole crux of it. But really what the book is about is he talks about asking the right questions. And so one of the main questions is to ask them, what's your biggest challenge right now? Like Gary Keller's one thing. Like focus on one thing. That's the most effective survey you could do. What is your biggest challenge right now in your business, right? That probably sounds very familiar to any of you that are on my email drip campaigns or have been in my membership site, right, in the Door Grow Club. What's your biggest challenge in your business, right? And that gives me the best feedback. So he talks about doing ask campaigns. Ask campaigns are where you like send out emails to all of your list or different people saying, what's your biggest challenge right now? So biggest challenge in the property management, residential, single family kind of space, leads and growth. That's it. Like, how do I grow? How do I get more leads? That's their number one challenge, which is why my business name is Door Grow, right? And we focus on solving that problem specifically. Number 2 challenge is probably their number 2 and number 3 challenge depend on how big they are. If they're a solopreneur, their number 2 challenge is, when they're small, is either fulfillment or maintenance. It's basically getting stuff done, right? Which Ray can help you with over at Property Meld. And then the second challenge, after people have taken care of leads and growth and they're growing, this is one of the biggest challenges. This is probably the solid number 2 challenge in the property management space, is staffing and hiring. Right, John?
Yep.
So those are like the big 3, right? Fulfillment, staffing, and getting leads and growing, right? Sales, basically. So, yeah. And I learned that I knew how to target people, but it got even more clear when I started really doing the ask campaigns and asking, and it was based on some of the stuff that I learned in here. But he talks about how he built his whole business with nothing but a $450 laptop and an Ivy League background in neuroscience. So anyway, all right, you guys tired of books? I've got more books here.
Have you read Deep Work, Cal Newport? That's right along the same
Deep
line.
what?
Deep Work.
Deep work?
As opposed to shallow work. Yeah, it's really good. He wrote a couple books. He's like an MIT. He's like off the charts achiever in the academic world. Okay. And basically, it's cool because he goes into, and he's young. I mean, he's probably late 20s now. But he debunks, like he talks about how Google and Facebook and the open campus sort of, office space is a complete and total wrong business model, because you have hundreds of people acting like busy bees and nobody's really getting anything done, and it's because you can't focus.
Yeah,
The
because you're
best,
getting
and he, and he
interrupted.
and he goes into many examples of great achievements, and it always came from somebody locking themselves away for a month in a cave, or I mean, the real achievement and the real deep work that human achievement has accomplished over time is done pretty solitarily. I mean, you do consult, and you do need help, and you do corroborate with things, and with other
Mm.
people, but mostly it's a singular creative act that takes deep focus and concentration, and therefore you need to kind of pretty much be more isolated. And the whole idea of a company, because the idea with the open campuses is everybody's collaborating with each other and saying, oh yeah, this is a great idea, and all these minds come together, and they're greater than
Yeah.
all the ones, and it's completely opposite of that. In fact, when you put a bunch of people in a room, you don't really get anything done, but it's interesting.
Yeah. I think
did,
Gary Keller touches
oh,
on that.
did we lose you?
Do you hear me?
You kind of breaking
Yeah,
up on me anyway.
All right. Am I breaking up for the rest of you?
A little bit.
a little bit.
Huh. Okay. Let me kick my computer fan on. Maybe things are just heating up here.
Your kids just got done with homeschooling. They jumped on their
They're
Wi-Fi.
on Netflix. So in the One Thing book, he's got this door hanger you can pull off. Like basically says, I'm focused right now on my one thing. Don't interrupt me.
Right. That's that's basically the same idea.
Here's the other side of it. I'm working on my one thing. Right. So interruptions, one interruption I was looking at, and I don't remember what he says in the book, but one interruption cost me about 30 minutes of labor.
Right.
So if I have one team member send me a message when I'm in the middle of building my house of cards or focused on business development or whatever, it all goes crashing down. I have to spend time with them right then to figure out their problem, change what my brain's focused on. And it takes me probably about 15 minutes to get back into it at the level that I was before. So it's about 30 minutes of lost work. And if your whole team are communicating that way with each other, they're all just instant messaging each other or just walking into each other's offices constantly, you're getting like probably 50% effectiveness out of your team members.
Right.
That's
It's the
why
myth
that's
of
why I got rid of
multitasking.
Slack.
Multitasking is a myth.
Yeah, he talks about that. We talked about that earlier. I call it half-ass tasking.
Right.
So that's a good book, and that's a true principle. And I like what you're saying. Yeah, the open campus thing, that would be really frustrating. I mean, imagine like me working from home. Imagine if I just have my door open in my office, it like everything goes south. Like kids are walking in, and I'm interrupted, right? So yeah, I get it. All right, cool. So here's another book I have. This is probably one of the best books on health. One of the most comprehensive. It's pretty thick, but it's one of the most comprehensive books on health that I think I've read. It covers like all kinds of different things. It's called Eat Dirt, and I think why leaky gut may be the root cause of your health problems and 5 surprising steps to cure it. But really, it sounds like he's just talking about like, you know, diet, but this goes into like a lot of the core things that are causing people problems and health issues. And I think it's pretty great. It's probably one of the best, most comprehensive. I mean, he talks about like all kinds of stuff. But the core principle, the core thing he's focused on, besides all that other good stuff, is that we live in too sterile of environments and we keep our kids in too sterile of environments, and so they don't develop the bacteria profile internally that they need, and our body is made of bacteria. That's how it functions. That's how we process food. That's what creates hormones and chemicals. And so, depending on the type of bacteria that you have in your system, It's going to dictate how you think. It's going to dictate your emotional state. It can cause depression, or it can make you happy, like whatever. So it's really, this book is a really great book on health, and it made me a lot less germophobic because I was a clean freak. So
That's pretty paleo actually.
yeah, probably. So
Because
those,
they would pick up. I mean, they found in anthropological studies that the paleo had a lot more minerals in their body, and they couldn't really figure out because he was eating a lot of good stuff. But anyway, end of the story was that he was eating a lot of stuff off the ground, and so he was getting a lot of minerals just from the dirt. So I think that's where that title comes from. That we don't eat dirt, and our ancestors ate a ton of it, so we're
in
missing
fact,
out.
like a lot of the stuff we get from the store, even produce-wise, it's been bleached, it's
Right.
been sterilized, it's been
Oh
radiated,
yeah,
like,
now we're
and so the
inundated with all kinds of
bacteria,
chemicals.
the good
Yeah.
bacteria is like gone.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
so
Homogenized milk. That's bad. It's actually not as good
yeah.
as none,
So he
or
talks about
it's
like fermented
pasteurized.
foods, which have more bacteria and stuff
Right.
like that. Like people will take a probiotic pill, but a probiotic pill is like a grain of sand compared to a beach versus having some sort of fermented food.
Right.
It's like garbage. So like I really like the kombucha tea.
Yeah.
They're usually in like the produce section. These drinks, kombucha.
I
It's like a
make my own.
ferment. Do you? I
Yeah.
love that stuff.
I make 4 gallons at a time. It's super cheap because buying it's expensive. It's like
Yeah,
here
it
it's
is
like $4 a
expensive.
bottle.
I buy it because I don't have time to make this stuff.
I
I
mean,
don't have
well,
this.
it takes about 3 weeks, and it takes you about an hour of time to set it up, and you just let it go. It just grows in a glass. I have a 2 gallon glass container,
That sounds
and it's
that sounds
great.
scary. I'd be worried I'd like taint it somehow, and I'd be on this news story. Man dies from his own poison cheese or something. So, but kombucha tea is really good tasting. So I get all the different flavors. I like the ones with ginger in it.
Yeah,
So
I like
good.
ginger too. It's really good.
All right, dudes. This last one's. I have another book, but I don't have the book here. But .com Secrets by Russell Brunson. That book is awesome. I'm going through his ClickFunnels certification program, and I believe funnels are the next attention space beyond websites. If for an internet marketing, websites are like old technology, so this is kind of the future. So I'm learning that stuff, and
How does that work?
so well, funnels are basically, instead of just sending people somewhere and hoping that they take action, funnels are a process of converting cold traffic into warm traffic. So it's a series of interactions that create a much bigger response.
Right.
And there's a whole like science to it, but Russell Brunson's working with people like Tony Robbins and all these people. He does their funnels. So these funnels basically, like, usually at the very front end, they'll start with like a lead magnet to capture somebody really cold, really easily, something that's really easy to opt in, and then they'll offer them something for free. The lead magnet is something free, and then they'll offer them something that's really low dollar but has a lot of value, and then they'll offer them something more, and so that's called a value ladder. And so this helps you identify the buyers really quickly, identify people willing to spend, and each process, each step in their action, usually there's videos or there's content or value, and so you're creating this relationship with them. Normally in the past, for example, when I would do sales, it would take me about 6 to probably about 10 interactions in order to close somebody on like a 5 to 10 grand website. And it would probably take me about 7 hours. I'd have this process that I would take them through, and it was really effective, but the challenge was it took a ton of my time, right? So the way I got John on, for example, as a coaching client, is I built a funnel. So at the very front end, I had this video that said that I just shared my little cycle of suck and another little tip to just kind of open people's minds up, and I said, put your email in, you'll get access to my video where I'm going to go through like 12 or 21, lies that are pervasive in the property management industry. And I've already given them some value. I've already shared something with them at the beginning, so they're like, okay, I'll put my email in. So they're basically, I'll trade my email to hear what you have to say, right? That's a pretty safe trade. I'm not trading money yet. I'll do that, right? So then my next stage of my funnel, I then break down their worldview. So I share all these myths and lies that I see in the property management industry, and they're true, and most people are blind to them, so they're like, oh my gosh. So it breaks down their worldview, and then they trust me because I've given them some value. And then I share, so I've broken them down, then I share a positive change. Like I share, you could have this and this and this, and they go on to the next video, and then I have an application, and then I have a thank you video that tells them to take certain actions, like to contact me, and it was like a series of 4 different videos and steps. And what was great about it is nobody would go through that. In fact, the coaching clients I took on that didn't go through that were my worst coaching clients. Like, they didn't get as many results, they didn't take action, they were lazy, whatever. The ones that got the really great results, like John, were the people that went through that funnel. They came through that, and it's like a built-in filtration system, right? So if you build the right funnel, it can help you attract more leads and convert more people into buyers, and do so in a process that takes none of your time and that sort of thing. So there's lots of different types of funnels, right? There's webinar funnels. So webinar funnel would be where you have like a landing page and for an event or a webinar. It has really high value, and they might go to it and opt in, do that for free, and then you get their email address, and then you, as part of the funnel, you send out reminders for them to attend the event, and then they go to the event, and then the event itself has a strategic seduction process to break down their worldview and then share a new reality with them, and then to convert them on some sort of sale or action with you. And then you do, like, as part of the funnel, usually they're sending out the replay link and all the stuff. So there's this funnel that you take people through. Then there's like survey funnels. Take this survey and you'll learn this really cool thing or get this cool thing, and then it takes them into the next step. And so it's really just a series of interactions. What funnels allow you to do, though, is outspend your competition, because your competitors are spending on cold traffic to get people to a page, hoping they'll convert instantly right there, or they'll just get an email, but there's still a very cold lead. Whereas a funnel, you'll spend the same amount, you can spend more than them, get them through, but you'll get higher conversions in the end and more sales and more closes. So what funnels allow you to do, because there's more of a process there, is allows you to outspend your competition and get the same result.
Jason,
so
correct me if I'm wrong, but when I looked at the funnel stuff and some of the videos and research, it's scary what's out there just from my little IP address. You can tell, where this thing's going is that, they know where I'm buying. They know if I've been on Amazon. They know the other websites I've done. They know how often I've come back to their site. You're creepy.
That's more like the big data stuff, and that stuff is really cool for marketers, right? So they can take, for example, their services, and a lot of sales guys use these. These are like sales software. So if a really big company, or especially a software company that's really good with marketing and sales, calls you, you can be pretty damn sure that they've got at their hands all this research on you. They probably have access to your social profiles. They can see, because if they have your email address, your name, they can get everything. There's databases. They have systems and databases that crawl Google, that crawl LinkedIn, and they're data mining and figuring out your email addresses. Some of these services will even go out and check your, will just try and make up email addresses to figure it out and test them against your
Yeah.
mail server with your name, different variations until they find an email address that works. And so, yeah, so the big data stuff is pretty cool for marketers. It sounds pretty scary, I think, for the end user. They're like, oh my gosh, but really what it allows marketers to do is just deliver more focused services and products to the right people. And so if you are the right fit, then usually you're happy if it's the right fit, if it's the right service. So glad you changed my life, Jason. So, yeah, but yeah, and some of that is integrating with funnels. So funnels will pull this in, and some of the more advanced ones will give you, for example, if I had my dream funnel, it would, um, this system would be able to qualify them, and I probably would just build my own survey funnel that would do this. But I would figure out how many doors do they have, because based on how many doors they have, I know how much they could probably spend. I know what services that would help them the most, because if I give the same services to somebody with 2,000 doors, or if I give the services that I would give to a 2,000 door guy to a 50 door guy, the 50 door guy will fall flat on his face and have no money in the bank, right? And so I want to make sure it's the right fit. So anyway, so .com Secrets is the book, and it goes through like everything from like building email lists to like webinar funnels, perfect webinar. It's like it's one of the best marketing books probably on the market, and you can get it for free because he puts it out there for free plus shipping, right? So what he does is he gets people to opt in on his funnel to get his free book. They just pay for shipping. Then he has their card data and they've made a sale, and then instantly he upsells them on something after they buy. So they go to this other screen. Thanks for getting this book, and we're sending it to you. It's free. You just paid for the shipping, and now I want to tell you about something else you might be interested in. And then this funnel keeps selling new things to them at each step of the process, upselling. If you ever bought a domain from GoDaddy, it kind of does that. That's all a funnel. That's one type of funnel, right? Having the upsells, having downsells if they say no thank you, stuff like this. There's a whole, if you can see this board right here, you guys see this?
Yep.
I'm going to pull this in closer. I got this at the Funnel Hacker Live event, which was amazing. You guys see these? These are all different types of funnel pages or funnel steps. So I can build a funnel with these little static clings. And you can see these are emails, so I can put drips. These are different steps. So this type of funnel is a product launch funnel. There's pieces for a webinar funnel, a members area funnel, a video sales letter funnel, etc. So pretty crazy stuff. So, but that's what I like working on. I like working on systems and funnels. That stuff is fun. I like figuring out what's the science of creating business and conversions and getting leads and stuff like that. So, yeah, my big challenge right now is traffic. So .com Secrets is after you have traffic mostly. So generating traffic at the front end. I've just started my podcast, and I've got the Door Grow Club and this kind of thing to just start creating traffic. But you can also just buy traffic, right? Pay-per-click, stuff like that. So, and this is kind of connected to Ask.com Secrets. This guy is also one of the big wigs in that space, Ryan Dice, The Invisible Selling Machine. This guy, his book's all about email sequences and building email lists and turning your email marketing into an automated sales machine, basically. So that's yeah, that's basically it. The cool thing about funnels is, so say somebody doesn't move on to the next step, You can have automatic emails that go out to them to pull them in and say, hey, we noticed you didn't go to this next step. Do you want to see this video? Watch this. As soon as they do that, it registers it. You can see it, all this kind of stuff. So it's all marketing automation stuff, and it's really, really cool. So that's kind of some of the stuff I'm getting into. So those are some of my cool books. Hopefully you got some value out of these. What do you think, Ray? Some nerdy stuff? You're on
Ray's
mute.
not talking.
He's on mute. He's like, oh crap, I'm doing something else right now. He called me out. He's like in the bathroom or the next room. So anyway, well, I think unless you guys have some other books or whatever, I think we'll call it a day. I didn't promote this one as well, so I probably need to get some, because we had I think a bigger turnout last time. This was a good group. I want to see if we can get some more people coming out because it's fun.
All right,
So I think we'll wrap it.
Yeah, cool.
Thanks, Jason.
Thank you.
Cool. All right. Take care, guys.
Hey, Jason, before you go, if we could, I want to talk to you further about last time we talked.
Okay. Well, why don't you give me you want to grab a time?
Sure.
Grab a time because my wife's waiting to talk to me. We're trying to figure out what we're doing with homeschooling, and just grab a time. You can go to doorgrow.com and just click the schedule link right at the top if that's easiest.
Yeah. No, because I want to pursue what we would already started. So.
Yeah, let's do it. All right. I'll talk to you soon.
Later. Thanks.